again. What does racism mean to you?
Okay, yes, and I'll start again by saying that to me, racism it's a loaded word, and it's going to have different meanings for different people, and to me, the immediate thought that comes to my mind is hurt. I can't help but think that if I hear a racist comment, that I'm, even if it's not at all directed at me, that I'm still hurt that perception or that misconception or that stereotype or generalization exists and is potentially causing damage or pain or hurt for someone else. So that's kind of the immediate feeling word that I think of with racism. But yes, racism is a very loaded word, and sometimes sometimes it's overt and we can see it, and there are other times where it is covert, and racism is not at all it's not at all easy for someone to sit. If you're sitting in a position of privilege, it is not an easy thing to see racism, or it's not necessarily an easy. Yeah, when you're sitting in a position of privilege, sorry, Becky, I'm trying to get it right. When you're sitting in
I think that you just said it actually quite perfectly. Yeah. Yes, that when you sit in a position of privilege, racism is not an easy thing to be able to see.
Yeah.
I think
not always. I mean, sometimes you can. The overt, but it's the covert. It's the systemic racism that you really have to. You have to dig. You have to kind of unpack and look at who designed any particular system, and public places, public spaces. Is it a space that's designed for everyone, or are there some unfair advantages that have positioned people based on power, based on privilege, that actually do sometimes foster that systemic racism? And that is the piece that I think is much harder to see. And it's also, I find, coming from a position where I know I identify as a white woman who I would definitely argue that I'm educated. I have been put in a position of privilege in my life, and there's no question I've benefited from those privileges in the way that education was an easy thing for me. I didn't struggle in school. It was easy for me to navigate and work through that system in comparison to other folks where I know it's been not as easy. That system was not designed in the same way for everyone to.
I know, it's interesting. I've heard that, like what you're referring to is that the system is broken. But then I've heard, people say, well, the system never worked. It's not broken. It just never worked because it just was never designed for some people.
That's right. I don't know. I don't know if it's a broken system, but I think it's a question of how was it thought out, and in trying to make any space inclusive, what kinds of things, what do we.
Question.
Okay. I guess for me, it would be more so as a witness. I can't say that I have had comments that were directly targeted at me. And
well, I guess as a white person,
that's right.
You can't actually experience.
That's
race.
right. No, exactly. So. It can be a witness, but
yes.
Yeah. I haven't. Yeah, exactly. I have not experienced racism directed personally towards me on a personal level, but witnessing it, absolutely. There's no question that racism exists. It's real. It's hard to, when I think about it, it makes me emotional. Just because I can see that positioning, what it does when you directly see that unfairness, that sometimes just that like for example racial profiling, where I know I've had friends who can walk into the same establishment that I will have gone to, and I will not experience my experience is not the same as theirs, and they may have found that someone was following them around the store or questioning them, or and so there are experiences like that, or where I definitely can say that I'm a witness in the context of recognizing that it does happen, it's real, and that it needs to be challenged when these things do come up, and you have to find the appropriate time and space and way to maybe disrupt something that continues to perpetuate a negative or discriminatory stereotype
Practices,
or idea. Yeah.
To finish that. So I am the bridge to ending racism in Saskatoon by
being a community ally. I think.
Yeah, simple enough, right? You know what I think is important actually? What do you mean by ally?
Well, good. Yeah, that's a good question. Maybe that's not the right response. Ally, I mean, to me, I feel like you're right, though. It's not the right, because now when I think about it, a community ally, it's too simple. Ally's kind of like friend, but it's like, it's more than, okay, I've got a good one.
Okay.
I came from the anti-discrimination response training yesterday. So I'm cheating a little bit here because I didn't get this
No problem, but it's yours
quote.
now.
Yes. I think, okay, the I am the bridge to ending racism in Saskatoon by being an upstander instead of a bystander when seeing acts of racism.
Excellent.
How's that?